We're talking with Baylen Linnekin from Keep Food Legal. And Baylen, thanks so much for coming on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, we talk a lot about Second Amendment issues on this program. We also talk about other issues related to our personal liberty. And it seems to me that, your ability to buy the milk that you want is one of those basic things. I mean, in fact, it's so basic, Baylen, I'm guessing most Americans don't even think about it.
No, I would imagine that most people think that milk comes from the grocery aisle.
Right. But, there are some who want to buy raw milk. This is, I guess part of the raw foods craze, which I admit I'm not really a part of. I liked my food cooked and sometimes fried. But you know what? Look, if that's what you want, who am I to say you can't have it? I am not a federal judge. Apparently a federal judge, however, says, no, you cannot sell fresh milk, raw milk, across state lines, right?
That is unfortunately the case. He's enforcing FDA policy, and basically it was a rubber stamp, it looks like.
Okay. This is an Amish farmer who was selling this milk, a guy named Daniel Allgyer, and a judge has banned him from selling his milk across state lines. He's now told his customers he's just going to shut down altogether. Some of his supporters have been buying from him for 6 years. According to one of the customers, said, quote, "I can't believe in 2012 the federal government is raiding Amish farmers at gunpoint all over a basic human right to eat natural food. In Maryland, they force taxpayers to pay for abortions, but God forbid we want the same milk our grandparents drank." All right, the FDA says that the judge made the right call. But, at this point, Baylen, did the FDA make the right call in going after this farmer? Again, what is the big issue here over the raw milk?
Well, the FDA claims that it's likely to, or at least more likely than pasteurized milk, to contain certain pathogens. And I suppose there's probably some truth to that. But the FDA and the USDA permit a whole host of raw foods, from ground beef to sushi, to be sold, and you don't see raids on sushi farms.
Well, no, exactly right. And so, as I understand it, Pennsylvania state law allows the sale of fresh milk or raw milk, right?
That's true, yeah. Unfortunately, not the case in either D.C. or Maryland, where a lot of Dan Allgyer's customers are located.
So was there any, again, as silly as it is for this farmer to be shut down, is there any concern that people who bought fresh milk are also going to run afoul of the law?
It's not actually illegal to buy or consume the milk, so it's unlikely, but it is likely that I would imagine the FDA, which carried out a year-long undercover investigation, would probably want to know. I know it's absurd. They probably would want to know where customers, where Dan's former customers are going. So I think it's probably a good idea that these, current and or former customers of Dan Allgyer keep quiet.
It is amazing that again, as you say, a year-long undercover investigation over the sale of raw milk. One would think that there would be better things that the FDA could have been doing over that 12-month period, right?
I could think of a lot of things that I would rather they were doing, and I can think of a lot of other things that I wish they weren't doing as well.
So, how big an issue is this, Baylen? I know right now, look, a lot of Americans, they're concerned about jobs. They're concerned about the economy. Maybe food police and anti-state issues like this can take a back seat. But why should Americans care about a story like this?
Well, I guess put it in the context of jobs. If Dan Allgyer employed people, which I'm sure he did on his farm, and he can't sell milk, he can't earn a livelihood, he can't employ those people, this is as much a small business issue as any other one. It's not Dan's not on Main Street, but these are the same issues that Main Street is facing.
Absolutely. And as far as the personal liberty argument, I guess the backers of the FDA would say what they've determined that this is an unsafe product, and so it must be regulated, it must be monitored, and people must be stopped from buying it across state lines. But at some point, Do you think, Baylen, the argument becomes you have a right to put milk in your body? Again, we're not talking about heroin here. We're not talking about crack cocaine. We're talking about milk. It comes from a cow.
Exactly. I wrote in May after Dan's farm was busted. I wrote an op-ed, and I said that in cases where a warning is sufficient, then a ban is inappropriate, and that applies to, as I mentioned before, ground beef or chicken, which they warn you when you buy them in their raw form, or on a food menu, you're warned that shellfish undercooked may cause you illness. Raw milk is the same thing. Slap a warning on a canister and allow people to make their own minds up. People aren't stupid. Don't treat them that way.
Right. Absolutely. Well, listen, Baylen, I appreciate you coming on the program, sir. It's a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll have you on again, although maybe a happier topic next time.
I would like that.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me on.
Hey, thank you, sir. Baylen Linnekin from Keep Food Legal. That's amazing. We have a group called Keep Food Legal in this country. Joining us here tonight on Cam & Company.